What's up, Faith family? Jarvis Gun of Voyager Arts YT here, and welcome back to another Diecast review. Today, we're going to be looking at yet another Maisto car. This is the 1932 Ford. Yeah, it's at the bottom, it just listed as a Ford. I tried to do some digging on this car, and from what I can tell, this is a Ford Coupe, but it doesn't exactly say that, and I only have one source for this being a Ford Coupe, so I guess we'll just call it by its Christian name, the 1952 Ford by Maisto. And if you saw my review of the Maisto 2000 Chevrolet Transverse, then a lot of my thoughts on that apply to this. Oh, the wheels, man. Oh, these wheels. Yeah, the wheels, as on the 2000 Chevrolet, they're held in place by one flimsy metal axle, which doesn't do much for the stability. The actual outside of the diecast, this particular body, it does feel a lot better than the body on the other Maisto I reviewed, the Chevrolet Transverse. So at the very least, that's that going for it. The print job on this, mainly the Ford emblem on it, I really do like this. That was very well done. And, you know, the printing on here, very sparse. All you really have is the Ford logo. And, of course, you have the license plate on it. I used to wonder if that was a European or American license plate. It is an American license plate. It just looks a little funny. But, yeah, the printing, I will give it that. The printing is very well done on this. The interior, there's not much to speak of. I don't even think there is an interior. As you can see, the windows are just a plastic blob. I don't think they're actually see-through. Nothing much to speak of there. The grill, I do like how the grill is done. Not the best feeling material in the world when you actually touch it, but you know what? It does look good. Looks like a very good classic grill, so I like that. And the wheels, I'm not a big fan of the wheels. I don't even know why I would go into that. I've made it clear that I don't like Maisto's wheel design. I don't like their axle design. I do not like a lot of things about this brand. I don't like how cheaply they make their cars. But this car right here, it was a gift. It was a gift, I'll say that. So I guess I can't complain too much. At least I got it for free. And this car right here, I'm not sure exactly how old this particular model is. I'd have to look it up. So at the very least, I can say it has endured quite a bit. So this car in particular has some good longevity. If I had to compare this particular classic Ford model to the very first car that I reviewed on Diecast Reviews, and I'll get that real quick. As you can see here with the Hot Wheels Ford Thunderbolt and the Maisto 1932 Ford, out of the two brands, I'd have to go with Hot Wheels. I don't know. There's a little bit of sentimentality I have for this one because it's the first diecast car that I reviewed on tape. But this honestly is just a better produced vehicle. I mean, Hot Wheels, they really are the name brand of this sort of thing. Maisto, you can tell they're the private label, off-brand sort of thing. But just Hot Wheels diecast cars, they feel like they have a presence. They feel like they have a weight to them. They really do. Because this car notably feels heavier than this car. You just drop that. And it like shakes and shit. You drop this, that's a solid car right there. Absolutely solid car. And a big part of that has to do with the undercarriages. I didn't mean for this to turn into a 1932 Ford, and again, what the fuck is that name? Versus Ford Thunderbolt comparison video, but I really do think this is important to point out. This car has a plastic underside. I mean, that's good for keeping costs down. And in that way, the only metal you have to include are the nuts. No homo. But looking at the underside of the Ford Thunderbolt, the entirety of it, this is either metal or very strong plastic. I can barely tell the difference. I think it actually is metal. Kind of cold to the touch. But yeah, there's a clear difference between these two cars. And even then, while the printing on this may technically be better, the limited printing on this, and again, there doesn't really need to be a whole lot of printing. I don't think there was actually a Ford ornament on this particular car. And considering where the grill is, I don't know if they could actually paint it. I do think that this has quite a bit more character than this, and that's really what it comes down to when you're talking about Maisto versus Hot Wheels. Hot Wheels they've just got things down pat. They've got the build quality down pat. They don't always have the design down pat, I'll say that. But when they're copying from automakers, the results are usually pretty badass, as you can see with the Ford Thunderbolt. For the Maistos, no, not really. I mean, little kids probably won't know the difference between Maisto cars and Hot Wheels cars. I mean, they're both 1/64th scale diecast vehicles, but one is obviously better than the other. One has more longevity than the other. And if you're playing with these as toys, this one is much more likely to fall apart before this one does. And I have yet to come across a Hot Wheel that's completely fallen apart. I've come across ones with horribly chipped off paint jobs from years of play, but I've never seen one actually fall apart, like at the seams. The wheels haven't fallen off. I think the wheels would easily fall off of this one if a kid was playing with it for too long. And let's get this off screen for a bit. In the final assessment, the 1932 Ford, this honestly does not do it for me. This car has some good elements, but I feel like it's being held back just by being a Maisto brand car. And again, it's nothing to do with the brand. It has everything to do with the actual build quality of the car. It is extremely poor, and it's not as bad as the other Maisto car that I reviewed, but I wouldn't say this is unacceptable, since you could sell this and get away with it, but this just doesn't have the X factor, doesn't have the character. And I know if Hot Wheels, if they took a try at this car, they'd probably do a hell of a lot better. And I've honestly seen Hot Wheels original cars that were better than this. Yeah, if you see this, then I'd say if you're a fan of classic cars, I'd pick this up. That's one of the main reasons why I'm not completely trashing on this thing. I mean, I do have a fondness for classic cars. So if you like to collect old Ford diecast, then I say go for it. Go ahead and pick this up. It's probably not going to be too expensive anyway. And I'm not entirely sure what year this came out, since it doesn't give a copyright date on the car. But while it's not the most valuable thing to a collector that likes to, trade and buy diecast cars, then I do think that this would be good just for collectors that like to have a large collection and who like to collect one particular type of car. And if you like these particular types of cars, then I'd say go ahead and buy this one. Since again, it's not going to be that expensive. You can tell. I mean, I can tell just by holding it that this is not an expensive car. So, yeah. With that said, that has been the 1932 Ford. I really can't stand that name. It just bothers me. Yeah, that'll be it for me. Jarvis gotten out. Have a nice night.